It's 2023. It's almost race season for me again, and we are at the ultimate crossroad once again with race day shoes. Are we going with the Alphafly 2 or the Vaporfly 2? The second generation of both shoes, two completely different animals. We're going to compare and contrast them, and we're going to decide where we're going this race season. Let's talk about it. So before we get into it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're already subscribed, watching the content. Thanks so much, love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava and all sorts of other social media platforms for all sorts of other updates. So without further ado, specs for both shoes respectively right here in their categories. And let's get into it. So as you can probably guess already, two brand new shoes that I've just purchased. Well, kind of at the same time. But the idea is that they're both in this total orange, colorway, and they're both brand new shoes that I did manage to get from Stocks. As you can probably see, we got Stocks tags on them. Stocks tags, 4 days. Nice place to buy some shoes. I don't like the return policy, as we're going to get into in a minute here. But anyways, yeah, let's break them down right away. So most of us already kind of know what's going on here with the Vaporfly 2. Just a quick recap on the shoe. We are dealing with the shoe that is about 7 ounces maximum in the size 8.5. We do have a 40 millimeter heel, 32 forefoot, giving us this 8 millimeter offset in the shoe. What more can I say about the Vaporfly 2 that I haven't said already in the past? The shoe rides like amazingly. It's very quick, flexible. It's kind of a stiff landing compared to its, counterpart in the Alphafly, but it's something you get over because, yeah, if you ride with the Alphafly, you get a little bit more like spring and rebound from air pockets, whatever they are. But again, the difference here is that you get that stable landing, and the energy return is just still one of the best energy returns I've ever experienced in a race day shoe. So yes, kudos to the Vaporfly 2 that I've been using since at least 2021. I don't know how many pairs I've gone through now, but I've had quite a few of them, and I might still have maybe 3 or 4 of them if I recall. Maybe sold one of them in the past. Hard to say. But anyways, yeah, the Alphafly. So interestingly, the Alphafly 2 has a stack height and offset very similar to the Vaporfly 2. I don't know if that was by design or if they wanted to take what was awesome with the Alphafly, its architecture in the outsole and the foam and its upper, and then add the spec design of the Vaporfly 2 in terms of ride and style into that shoe, because the predecessor of the Alphafly 2 had like a 4 millimeter offset overall. It was like 39 and 35, so it was like much higher shoe, less of a forefoot and more of like this kind of like midfoot to heel strike friendly type of shoe. And as a result, yeah, it was just a different experience than the Alphafly 1, which wasn't bad. It actually just forced you to utilize more muscle groups when you were running with it. Whereas here, it puts a little bit more emphasis on like calf use and I guess just having that more stabilized strike overall in the run. But we get into some major problems with the Alphafly 2 that I've discussed before, right? The first and worst problem of all is this textile piece that's right there. That thing is cutting into your toes whenever you're running with it from the inside of the shoe, because there's like a little bit of a ridge in there that is kind of caved out, maybe some like excess material, and every time you run and your foot like oscillates in the shoe if you're not locked down properly, it is cutting into your foot quite badly. So I've had some major blisters on one of my toes, as you've probably seen in a previous video, and the point here, especially with this pair of shoes, which I'm going to get into with my little Stocks controversy as well, is that, again, I tried giving the Alphafly 2 a second chance in terms of, hey, maybe the pair I had was kind of defective, and here's a second pair that will probably not have that same issue that the first pair had. However, when I bought this shoe, I got it at a really decent price, and I realized why fairly quickly. This is a woman's 10.5, size 10.5 shoe, which I believe translates to about a men's 8.5. However, Nike has this very specifically sorted out with extra technology pairs like the Alphafly and sometimes in the Vaporfly Next Percent 2, is that the Air Zoom pods, the carbon plate, and the structure of the shoe overall are different for a woman's size 10, 10 and a half. What is this thing actually? I know it said it's men's 8.5, but it's a woman's 10. That's what this is. And what's happening is that the air zoom pockets here, or the pods, whatever they are, they have less PSI than the men's shoe. The carbon plate responds differently because of the overall structure of the shoe. And the shoe is a lot more narrow than the men's shoe. That's like the main things to focus with this. So when you buy this shoe from something like Stocks and they say, hey, unless the shoe is sold to you like as a false sale of goods, we can't really return this. So my issue with it is that technically speaking, the specs of the woman's version of the men's 8.5 shoe is not the same overall in terms of rebound and output from this shoe, and I can't really return it because again they recognize it more on shoe size rather than something like the air pockets having less PSI and less of a response in if a man was to run in this particular shoe. So that's kind of the issues with it, because again the shoe is too narrow for me in the woman's size, and it's just far less comfortable than the previous pair that I had in the green, Cell Games DBZ colors way, So, yeah, with the Vaporfly Next% 2, this pair is brand new, but because I've run in this shoe previously in 2 different variants last year, I have full-fledged confidence that I will not have an issue with the Vaporfly Next% 2 in this particular colorway, in this year design and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to have any issues. I'm just going to have the same recurring feelings and sensations in this shoe that I've had with the previous models, which will be kind of like a stiff landing compared to, its competitor within its brand, the Alphafly. But yeah, we'll see how that kind of rolls along. Maybe it won't be so bad in a brand new pair. We'll see. So, I mean, I guess the answer is obvious, right? Which shoe am I probably going to be racing in this year? Is it going to be the Alphafly 2, the one that was advertised like hell during the Chicago Marathon last year? Or am I going to stick to the tried and true Vaporfly Next% 2? I think you guys know the answer to that, right? So, that's kind of the answer. And, yeah, Vaporfly Next% 2 in this total orange color scheme. I'm sticking with it. I got it for a really decent price on Stocks, if we're going to be completely honest. So yeah, just kind of buying off dealer, and if I trust the shoe, it's it's not a problem, right? And so what that it's Stocks verified and all that. That's not a big deal for me. What's the issue is I'm not buying a sight unseen in this case that is not even in the right size for me technically. So yeah, I'll go into the race season video later on in this series of the shoe reviews. But yeah, Vaporfly Next% 2, I'm taking it over the Alphafly 2 at this point in time, with not really going into massive technical specs as to why, but you kind of understand why I don't like the Alphafly 2 versus why I like the Vaporfly Next% 2 in this particular case. Again, these are the second generations for both shoes, and it's interesting that this one came out in 2021, this one came out in late 2022. Just this delay in release is kind of hilarious, but you can also make the argument that this is supposed to be the competitor to the Alphafly 1, and then maybe there's going to be a Vaporfly Next% 3 coming out. I don't know what more they can do to the Vaporfly Next% that would make it god tier. I think there were some prototype designs that came out that had some other additional features or lack thereof, but it's okay, not a big deal. So I'm going to end the video here. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys agree or disagree with the assessment, let me know in the comments below, but we are going to end it right here. So thanks so much. See you guys in the next one.